Yeah. Next question is about like PIVX seems to be promising and fascinating as other privacy coins as such as ZCash, Monero, Dash. However, PIVX total market cap is significantly lower than those other coins I just mentioned.
Yep.
Like, why is the reason for that?
Multiple reasons that we can kind of piece together. One would be duration on the market, right? So PIVX as a cryptocurrency, its duration and availability on the market is, we're younger, right? If you want to say from that standpoint. So where Dash and Monero, et cetera, have been on the market and available for longer, we're younger to the industry. So that's one component. Another component, you can look at and say, all right, we are proof of stake. So there's a lot of people who still are not familiar with the proof of stake model. And while I believe the industry is going to change, I think you're going to see a lot of coins and projects that are going to be looking to proof. I mean, even Ethereum's talking about going to proof of stake. So you're going to see communities that are going to be moving to that model and exploring that. Still, a lot of the mindset is about, oh, I can mine this, right? I've got all my, here you go, boom. I think that's there. The other component is this. We in PIVX largely for the past year have worked with a fairly small budget, right? So projects like Monero, projects like Dash, et cetera, when we were ramping up a lot of the marketing, we're ramping up a lot of the visions, et cetera, we were working with smaller budgets, right? And this isn't to downplay anything other than say, hey, if you've got $1 million budget a month to do marketing and spends and development versus 20,000, 15,000, it can make a difference, right? Although you could also say with $1 million, you can waste a lot, right? So it goes hand in hand. However, what we spent a lot of time doing is this. We spent a lot of time building up the brand, right? Building up the feeling, the value proposition of what PIVX is. In the meantime, the developers were working incredibly on technology, right? And so I think that's why a lot of people in PIVX are really looking forward to the end of Q1, Q2, 3, because now what's changing is that's where you're seeing, hey, PIVX is showing up we're going to conferences. We're doing a lot more interviews. We're getting the traction. We're getting the notoriety. Why? Because the tech's solid. We're starting to shift and say, hey, this foundation's been put. Now people can hear about it. So the Pivians who have been in for a while going, yeah, I love this project. It's got incredible tech. Or I came in because of the feel. Now you're starting to see that tide go, oh man, this crypto is pioneering in privacy. It's pioneering, as you said, it's a jack of all trades, right? It's got governance. It's got privacy. It's got low transactions. It's fast, right? So, and it's got a crazy good feel about it. Yeah, and that's what now is getting further and further out into crypto, into the world. That's why we were on stage with, influencers, et cetera. That's a lot of the push for this year is to say, here we are. Like, this is an incredible project, but we don't have to flaunt it because we already know it. And so we just have to put the marketing out as we're doing to say, here we go, guys. Here we go. So it's more of a, I guess you could say, a longer tail vision of building something that's much more sustainable rather than going for the flash in the pan, drive your market cap up, and then try and backfill with technology and et cetera, et cetera. This is the long build for a sustainable currency, community, et cetera. But that's my opinion. That's my view.
Yeah, I think when it comes to just raising a capital and then or building community, I think a building community should definitely come first. Yeah.